against that dog?
Hey, can I use a deep voice like you just used? What's up, man? Hey, man, this is Bam Bam. Oh, what do you know?
Last week when you were saying how, you worried about Frank with my different intros and trying to fit the music in, I was like, man, Frank's so good at fixing everything that I'm just going to challenge him now. Come out different every week.
Good. A variety is the spice of life. Variety is the spice of life.
I doubt I'll remember to stay on that path as far as doing something different every week. But I remembered today. Hey, before we get going and I forget, I gotta say Happy Father's Day to everybody. That includes starting here with you, Bam Bam, and our guest from the South Georgia Copperheads, Mr. Greg McDuffie Sr. I assume the senior part means that you are a happy father today.
Yes.
I got. How many Greg McDuffies are there?
It's only one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the senior and the junior. I didn't know if we had, like George Foreman, a third, a fourth.
So when you say there's only one, there's no Greg McDuffie Jr.?
No, it's only one McDuffie Jr. and he's about 23 now.
So there are two McDuffies, but only one senior, one junior. Which makes
there
sense.
You go.
Which makes sense. Last year, it was around the time when we launched on YouTube. I had Alvin Suarez. Sorry, I knew him as Alvarez at one point in time. Alvin Suarez, who now plays for the Indy Edge. And I thought we were recording the show on Father's Day. It was a week early. And so I'm like doing my Happy Father's Day all the way through the show and realized afterwards that it wasn't even Father's Day yet. So I'm happy to get it right this year. Happy Father's Day on it's actually Father's Day.
It's funny when you started the Father's Day thing, I wasn't even putting it together that people will be listening to this actually on Father's Day. So thank you, Neil Dog. I appreciate it, man. It's one of the most, happy moments of my life to become a father. I cried like a baby.
Actually, I thought you were serious. It's probably the only time, other than when Dwight Clark caught the catch against the Cowboys 40 years ago. I think that's the only time I know of you crying.
Yes, it is. My kids often ask me, "Do you cry?" I'm like, well, no, but I did,
and I better not catch you crying either.
There's no crying in baseball. Actually, went real quick on a business note, and to all the team contacts that are listening in on our Beatball Blues show here. We have our team contact meeting the June 23rd about the upcoming bylaws and stuff. So I have to present my bylaw about all the at
voting.
We have to discuss rules and bylaws on the floor of the
General Assembly.
Yeah, General Assembly. I was going to say the convention. I was like, God, it's not a convention though, man. And I just couldn't get that word out of my mind. It's like it's not a convention, man. It's not a convention at the General Assembly. So I always, it's a great idea, not just because it's my idea, but I think it will help move rules and bylaws through the league. I think people being able to discuss things all together in one big group is a positive, not a negative. So I will explain myself further on the 23rd, but team contacts, please at least vote it through, so at least it can keep going down. If the league, if the membership wants to vote it down, that's fine. But at least give the membership the chance to do that. so there you go. That's my only plug.
No, it's cool, and I applaud you for following up on that. I guess it doesn't matter since I haven't been there. Nobody, as it's been pointed out, we're irrelevant.
I'm coming out of retirement.
And I understand I am when it comes to the league stuff at this point in my life. I am completely irrelevant, but something I have not enjoyed watching over the last decade is how much of all the meeting stuff is just not being done during the week of the World Series. Right. They're trying to shut down everything. They're still scheduled to have a meeting, the board meeting before the tournament, and there's always been a board meeting on Friday night. But man, they make some kind of motion on Tuesday or Monday in the board meeting every year now to change the Friday meeting to a conference call like a week or two after the World Series. Like they don't even wait to see if there's a reason to push it back. They just automatically do it because they don't want to do the meeting there. They've combined the tournament committee meeting and the board meeting, which are, in my mind, two separate things. They're combining them just because they're putting all the emphasis on the tournament committee meeting rather than making both important, which they should be. And to top it all off, going to what the bylaw that you've put forth, they try to make General Assembly as short as possible. Now, I say that with disappointment. It doesn't mean because I love sitting there for 3.5 hours, but I know it's necessary work. That's the only time the membership could sit there and argue with each other over, what way to go on something, and productive, even though people might not want to sit through that for the most part, productive communication comes out of that. And so I've hated seeing it all eliminated. The current leadership wants to handle everything through conference calls, and that, people have bad internet connections, that conversations controlled. It's like it's just I don't like the way it's being done as a whole. So
no, the smaller things are, the easier they are to control, right? Democracy is like the greatest form of government, not according to Aristotle, but we are in the league a democracy, and we're a small democracy, so we don't actually need a representative. We can actually talk all together. There's only 300 or 400 of us, so we can all get in a room and talk.
And only half of those are going to show up anyway. So
exactly. Exactly. It's our chance to talk and to throw ideas around outside of just doing it as part of our single team. And all I ever say as we get to these points where it's the intermediate part where it's just the team contacts or just the bylaw, just pass it forward. I mean, this is an important enough thing that everybody should have their vote one way or the other. Just, let it, so move the process on, team contacts. That's all I'm asking. So I'm done with my plug.
Definitely, folks, show up for that. And we've got to get to Greg and his team before all our time runs out.
We only got like 5 minutes.
Appreciate your patience, Greg. But one last thing I need to add in related to the show. We are still doing our wool giveaway, as far as we are going to be giving away opportunities for people's names to be put in the wool drawing so that they can win cool stuff like an Apple Watch 6 and some Beats headphones by Dre. But we're not ready to start that this week. A few things need to be put into place before we can do that. But we still got a lot of time, so I'm not worried about that. But just a follow-up, we're not ready to launch that today, but it is coming soon. We promise that. And now, finally, Greg McDuffie from the South Georgia Copperheads. Welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Thank you. I'm good. I appreciate it.
Definitely. So before we find out all about your team and talk about the tournament you guys just played in and the World Series coming up for you all, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How you've been blind your whole life. How'd you end up into the sport of beat baseball?
I was born with stigmatism. I went to Florida School for the Deaf and Blind for my entire school term. I'm originally from Florida, like I say. I moved here after I finished Florida School of Massage, and I started doing massage here. And when 9/11 hit, everything fell apart. I was asked to come in and do a recreational beat baseball team here in Columbus, Georgia. So I stepped in and started doing that for fun. And then they wanted to be serious because they wanted the World Series to come here.
Right.
I got a chance to play in 2012 with Tyler Tigers in Ames, Iowa. Came back, formed the team. We played the Atlanta Eclipse. We played the Athens Timberwolves. And the team that I started was called the Midnight Stars, Columbus Midnight Stars. We had a pitcher, and his name was Jake. And this guy, like I say, I know it seemed like I'm going to step out of my boundary, but I'm just going to say this. I would put Jake against the top 6 pitchers in the NBBA. That's just how good this guy was.
That's strong praise indeed.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Strong praise indeed.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. I pretty much know talent, but talent has to believe in itself. Jake didn't have a problem with believing in himself. We was at Camp Abilities, and show you what I'm talking about. He says, Greg, put the blindfold on. I just want to throw you one pitch. And he's a good guy. He's doing his music career right now. So he pitches the ball to me one time, and I hit the ball and crushed it. And, here's the thing. He didn't sit there and do a regular pitch. He threw it between his leg and pitched it to me.
Doing tricks.
Yes.
And he hit your bat on the first pitch?
On the first pitch. That's all he said he wanted was one. And that's all it took was one. And that ball was out of here,
I have felt for a long time that pitchers are in beat baseball, the pitchers are kind of a particular breed in a way. The really good ones, they just have that kind of confidence. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of times they're maybe not like the thrill seekers, but they are like the people that just have kind of an edge often of just knowing they could just go up and do it. You know what I mean? And you saying like him wanting to do that and just like throw it, do a trick and all that just kind of shows that he had a little bit of that in him.
Right. And, I got a chance to meet Kevin when he came down for a game. Nikolai with the Chicago Comets, he comes down and when they do the midnight run with us, JT brings the team down and, they'll do a game against our sponsors. So, love him dearly. He's a big teddy bear. He probably get on me about calling him a teddy bear, but that's just how he is. I mean, the guy's lovable. And he comes in and explains everything. Then when he sees you, he grabs you and he hugs you. Okay, turn me loose.
Nick's been like that forever. I mean, we hosted we're talking about Nick Lopez for the audience.
Right. Chicago Comets.
Point. Yeah. And, like the World Series where I live here in Sacramento, where it's 108 degrees today. But it's a dry heat, no humidity, so it's real comfortable.
But 66 at the World Series in '99.
Yeah. We thought it was going to be the hottest World Series ever, and it was an odd week. But before the '99 World Series, I'd never spent a lot of time talking with Nick Lopez, and out of nowhere he just calls me. He's like, hey, the tournament's gonna be there, and I've got family that lives out there. I've given, they can come volunteer, like, what I mean. He's and then going out helping you guys, like he's just one of those good people that's been around helping everybody forever. He's got the most distinctive release, Here we go, ready, beach. Ready, beach.
And him and JT, I don't say this too often, but to me, those two ambassadors who came down and helped really promote beat baseball here in Columbus.
That's cool.
And once that happened, like I said, we formed a team, the Midnight Stars. We played Athens, we played the Eclipse, and no offense, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but the picture we had, we was crushing everybody, but the downfall was when we held the World Series here. No, I'm going too fast. I got a chance, like I said, to play with Tyler. And, Larry Reed sent out, they were looking for players. And then I was at the library and Suzanne called me and said, hey, they're looking for players to play in the beat baseball World Series. I said, okay, cool. So 3 of us went out there and I got a chance to play. And Larry put me behind Rose. He says, I really don't know what you can do, but I'm just going to put you behind Rose. I said, okay. And I went behind Rose, and I ain't gonna lie, I was on a field day. I was on vacation because she was snagging everything up. I didn't have to worry about it. But they were killing us on the third baseline. So he called time and told me, go to third. I'm saying to myself, okay, it's gonna pay off one way or another. Either I'm gonna get my ass kicked or I'm gonna do what I need to do. Well, boom, boom, back-to-back plays, I got him, and he's on the field, and he yells out. Everybody knows Larry. He's like, where are you? I'm like, oh my God. So, that's what started everything. And then he says, okay, now we know you, because in practice, I pulled a hamstring, right? When I first practiced with the team. Because we didn't know the field they put us on the practice was shitty. Okay, I'm just going to say it. And the young man who was pitching for him at the time was named Jamel. I said, Jamel, I need you right here. He said, okay. So he pitched the ball. I got all of it. And I was hobbling down the line, and Larry asked Jamel, why are you off the field? He says, ain't nobody getting that. He said, what do you mean? I say, that damn thing's gone. Larry said, are you kidding me? So when I got back here to Georgia, like I said, we built a team, and we went to playing other teams. And when I'm not lying, we used 24, 18, 15. We just beat them. Got to the World Series, and it was a big party. And, he was young. And, at the time I got a little hot because I wanted the team to have a good showing. Well, the sponsors forked out close to $7,000 for us, and we lost. Okay. You can't party all night and think you're going to get up at 5 o'clock and go out on that field. And it was hot here. I don't know if Seth, you came to the World Series.
He was there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and you know how hot it was on those fields.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I always remember that rainstorm, whatever that was, Wednesday or Thursday, the nicest few hours there, man. It was beautiful. Like I could live in this weather, man, until that rain broke. Boy, like I could, no way. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, he's right. When that rain came, it changes everything, everybody, But at our World Series, we made it so you didn't have to spend any money. We had everything in the host hotel. We had everything in the room. You name it, we had it.
Nice.
We did bags for everyone. But like I say, getting back to sponsors, when they're putting out this kind of money, it's kind of hard for them once you lose so many games, put that kind of money back out. So that kind of fills it out. So I took some time off. Came back and, we played in 2015 with Frank Guerra. And I said, hey, Frank, yeah. I said, you can pitch to your player and then I'm just going to coach. He says, okay. So I said, hey, Frank, one other thing. He says, yeah. I say, here's a clipboard. Yeah, what you want me to do this? You're coaching, I'm playing. And he looks at me and goes, are you fucking kidding me? I said, no, you can coach, right? He says, yeah. I said, okay, bye. Hey, I said, you the coach, bye. And I walked all onto the field. I'm just that type of person. I don't need to control nothing. I put it in somebody's hands who's capable of running it. And I know he was going to do a great job with it. And we had a great time. And, although we didn't win the World Series, we first met the Rochester Pioneers. And on that team, you all probably know this young lady, Christy Smith.
Nah. Was
out there selling tickets, and hey, let's see what you can do, stars. Okay, I'm saying, are you kidding me? Dave, I call him Blue. And, I'm sitting there going, okay, let's go out here and do what we need to do. So after a while, we were beginning to run the score 6-0. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not even going to do this. A new team like us, I'm not going to do this. So we was out there practicing on the sideline. Then one of my players said, I think it was Tim Chappell, says, or at the time, Lewis Thompson, I wonder what it'd be like if they hit the ball and scored a run. Because they can hit, but, they had challenges on the team. Once they hit the ball, they would get the ball. So I called time. And then I told my guys what to do, and they did it. So don't strike these guys out. Let them have fun because, they were getting their ass handed to them during that World Series. I'm not going to lie to you. And when the first young lady scored the run, she ran to the base, scored, and turned around, took about 4 or 5 steps, dropped to her knees, and started crying. That was our World Series. We felt like we were champions because we actually found a team that we work with and have fun. Now, Dave, like I say, y'all know him, came up to me and said, you know, you're a class act. You know, I call him Blue, you know. But my thing of it is when you have a team that's challenging and everybody's, you know, just crushing them, I know what it feels like. So, you know, my thing was we wanted to enjoy the World Series, and that's how we felt like we was in a championship game with those young men and women. And that's what did it. Now, let me show you another thing. When we went
real quick, let me ask you, so were you at that point still the Columbus Midnight Stars, or were you already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were still the Stars.
All right.
And we gave everybody a go for their money. But let me say this about the Midnight Stars. The pictures that we had, the young lady, Melissa Sherville, only had 2 weeks to work with the team. And to me, she did a damn good job. Her niece did a good job back catching and spotting for us. Okay. So I'm not holding nothing against nobody. We did a good job. We didn't win. But here's the thing, we showed up and we gained respect that week.
Yeah. That's a tough position to put a pitcher in, period. Like 2 years of experience at this sport isn't a whole bunch for a pitcher. So, you know, 2 weeks to get ready for the World Series tournament, man, that's a tough position to put any pitcher in. So
especially you don't have a sense necessarily of like how strenuous the World Series is. You know, it's physically hard. It's not a simple thing, especially for a pitcher. You know, right. they have to be on all. I mean, you know, there's just
all the time.
They have to be on all the time. You know, there's a lot of pressure on pitchers in our league anyway. So 2 weeks of experience, I can imagine that was hey, that took a strong person to be willing to do that, put themselves out there.
And the thing about it, she had so much fun. And, you know, when she got hit with the ball, and I said, you're going to sit out. She came to me like a little spitfire and said, I'm not sitting out. Hey, I figured since you don't work this hard,
that's when you know. That's when you know you've got a pitcher. You know?
Right. So, you know, everybody loved her. We had a good time with her. You know, she pitched. She kept the team in good motivation spirit. That's like I said, when we was the Stars. And when we still was the Stars, now here's the kicker. I've met Holly and her family in the Austin Blackhawks. Now, here's the funny story about that. She brought it back to my attention how me and her was yelling back and forth across the field. I'm a new guy, okay, so I'm going against the defending world champions. I don't care who they are. I'm just going back and forth. I'm protecting my team. The funny thing about it is we are now best of friends from that little altercation we had. You know, I love her and her husband, her family, Austin Blackhawks, you know, at the time, you know, they were just, I mean, they was in there.
That's the way so many like beat baseball relationships kind of started. Seth and I hated each other to start our relationship like 35 years ago, 33 years ago, whatever it was. So a lot of relationships in our sport start out that way.
Yeah. Now here's the funny thing. We went to Kentucky for a tournament and I didn't have a pitcher. Now, wouldn't you believe, come to my aid, it's the Blackhawks. We hear you don't have a pitcher, so if you don't mind, you can use one of ours. I'm saying to myself, after all the hell we just raised, you guys gonna give me one of your pitchers? From that day on out, you know, if they want to try something new at the World Series, they'll say, hey, coach, I don't have a problem with it. If you want to bring in new players who just started in your junior league, bring them, let them have a fun. That's just how I am, you know,
Who was the pitcher they threw at you? Because I don't know Austin. Well, I guess they do now, but who pitched for you?
I think it's the young man who's the back catcher for him now. He was in Kentucky when we went up there and played on that AstroTurf they have, you know.
Yeah, I heard about that field.
Man, everybody was getting jacked up on those fields. You know? So,
yeah, no, that didn't turn out too great. Was it Brandon Chesser's son? Do you know?
I think it It was either Brandon or his son, one of the two, who pitched for us. And
Brandon's a player. He definitely didn't pitch for you.
So, so then,
I know his son's pitching. I just don't know how old he is. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, we and this guy came in, and we was talking on the side with a young man named Aaron, who was part of the program. And out of nowhere, we call him Big Sexy. He clocks this ball. Wow! And inside of there, man, they still looking for that ball today. He just clocked that ball, So, that's how I built some relationships throughout the year.
Right.
I don't know a lot of people. I don't know how to, contact a lot of people. It's just a few people I know. Like I say, Holly and her family, Tim Hibner, God bless him, Kevin Simpson, when he came down and pitched for, the Clippers. Nicholas from Chicago, I got a chance to meet Kyle this tournament from In the Edge. I communicated with him when they was doing the game and finally got a chance to meet him. And he worked with, I have a young pitcher. A pitcher's no more than about 12 years old. Tim, Kyle, and Nikolai, JT, working with him. And I think Tim too. I hope I didn't forget Tim, but these guys are talking to him. And that's what like I said, these are friendships that I value. I don't try to do anything to hurt anyone, or if I step on somebody's toes, I try not to. But, it's how can you put it? I've been blessed to meet so many good people so far.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you will now add 2 legends of the game to your list of friends. Devil Dog and Bam Bam.
Yes. I was telling Neil the other day when he and I was talking, I said, what the hell made these guys call me up then when he was talking about the tournament? And I'm saying, oh, okay. I said, well, like I told him, I listened to the show and watched it a couple of times. But actually, when we were talking, I said, yeah, this guy's still the same. He doesn't change shit on his voicemail. I mean, he just talk, yeah. So, I'm sorry to get a chance to reach out to you, but hell, I'm like, yeah, that's him. He's nothing different than what he shows on what he does. So
he's not that big of an a-hole, man. He's a lot nicer in person, man. Actually, after all these years of kind of me working with him, kind of, trying to rub off the rough edges, he's turned into quite the adult, man.
Seth has raised me into quite the young man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, happy Father's Day again,
man.
Yeah. So great, man. Tell us how you how we get from the Midnight Stars to the South Georgia Copperheads.
Well,
which honestly, I gotta say for the record, South Georgia Copperheads makes me think of like the movie Deliverance.
Well, Midnight Stars makes you think of singing.
Well, like I said, after that World Series, everything kind of settled down after 2015. We got hit the tragic news of Frank passing away, so it kind of played hard on us. So we kind of backed off. Some players moved to Baltimore because they got jobs there. A couple of players went, out to Colorado for some training. So I took some years off and then came back. Hey, let's start the Copperheads up. And once we started the Copperheads up, I got some people on the team that are very, very green. And from there, they never really played a real tournament until this past weekend. And my theory is this: whatever you put in practice is what you're going to put out in the field. And, they're used to playing tournaments where they run to the base, maybe 40 or 60 yards. Well, here's the deal. Welcome to the big leagues, because these men wouldn't hit twice as hard and they run twice as fast, Like I said, they played the team soft. And I'm not trying to be funny or, mean, but what they did, they know they had a team that didn't have the experience, so they played them soft. Okay.
What do you mean, like in this tournament you just played in?
Yes.
So
yeah.
like the teams you faced were playing a lot of their backups against you? Is that
right?
All right.
Right. Because, these guys could have run and scored 30, 40, or, whatever, but they played us soft. And, their coaches, like I say, Cal and the other coach, they was working with us.
Yeah.
So it's not like they was coming out here, we're going to just crush you and whip you. They did what we did with, the Pioneers. They just talked, they talked with us. They played the game, but, they talked with us as they were going. JT came in and gave some, instruction to some of the guys. Nick gave some instruction. Tim talked with them. And that's the type of stuff they need. I can talk to them blue in the face, but when you get into a real live tournament and you're thinking you're this, I like to say a reality check is really good. You get your ass handed to you on everybody like to say a silver platter. No, on a platinum platter. Okay. Then it humbles you, make you realize you have a lot of work to do.
Right.
So, like I said, that's how we transition. Two teams combined. St. Louis had a few people that wanted to play. I had a few people down here in Georgia that wanted to play. So we just combined to build, a better brand to make it work.
So what's your like practice setup and stuff like that? Like, how often do you guys practice? Where do you guys have like something set up from the city? What's your practice plan setups?
Well, for the beginning, we started 2 practice here in Georgia. And then, we were supposed to do a tournament, but the other teams backed out. So we took that time that we're supposed to do the tournament and we practiced at least 4 days up there in Missouri. My practice schedule is like this. I have a small team, so I'm trying to keep them so they're injury free. So I put them in the pool and do water resistant training with them. Like side to side lateral, move it back and forth.
Right.
So when they come out the water, they'll be faster on this pavement. Now, Thunder, Taiwan, they practice on AstroTurf, which the ball is coming out faster. So I'm trying to get my team to understand the concept of what I'm doing. I'm putting you in here so I don't wear you out because I work in a pool. I used to swim in high school, but with water resistant.
I grew up a swimmer also, so.
Oh, so what we're talking about.
Now Seth knows 2 swimmers.
Yeah, right.
He always made fun of me for being a swimmer. He didn't grow up around swimmers.
My niece was a college water polo player. But
yeah, but
I hear that's a little more rough. A little rougher than swimming.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Yeah, those guys.
That does make 3 swimmers, though.
Right, 3. So I figured if I start with the water, exercise resistance, and like I told them, when I get you out, I'm putting you out here for a reason. My thing is this here. If I can build you in the pool, I can check your speed when you come out. That's not where I want you. I drop you back in the pool, and then you come back out to start to, slowly go down. You don't see it, but I see it. Then I'm happy. You're green because like I say, you've been playing in a league that they really don't have rules. And you come over to the NBBA and then you get your behind handed to you. And I talked with a few of my players. I ain't like getting my ass kicked. Well, welcome. You're going to get your ass kicked until you improve. And these teams know that they can kick your ass, but they're going to play you soft. Now you get into this World Series. I'm sorry, you ain't finna see nothing what you saw in the tournament because they're going to whoop your ass because 1, they got a goal. That's to get to that number 1 position. 2, outside of them lines, they know you. Inside those lines, they don't care nothing about you. So this is what I'm trying to get some of these guys to understand. Now, I got a couple of players who understand because we don't play before. I mean, Jimmy's helped coaching this year. Y'all know him. He played with Colorado, Bayou City Heat, and Atlanta Clips.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Adrian Templin played with the Midnight Stars before. So some of my players went to Tyler, but my thing is I still got a couple of guys who still here with me, so I'm good. I'm not here to give out free rides. Everybody earn what they get. And when people know they're going to get a free ride, that's the role they take. And sad to say, I'm not worried about it. I don't think about it. I just move on.
It sounds like overall though, like your team is kind of a mixed bag, like some newer local players, some of the old Midnight Star players, plus some experienced players from around the league.
Right. I have one from the, like I say, original Atlanta Clips. I have one of my original guys from the Columbus Midnight Stars, but everyone else, is from St. Louis or never played before. So. Right. The gig is for this year is to go do the World Series and making sure we can get there first. And then the second year is I'm coming out of retirement. I played a little bit this time, got injured. But
can I ask how old you are?
Sure, 57.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What am I doing complaining about?
Yeah, right. What you know? So,
you an old man, dude.
yeah, right. Coming out of retirement. Can I bring you? You know, I just like to say this. You know, that Columbus tournament, I always remember. That was the best banquet ever, man. You guys had fried chicken, and that shit was so damn good. I was like, man, I need me 2 plates of that, man. Go get me some more chicken, man. That was good.
I am here to tell you, I've never enjoyed fried chicken at a banquet, and you're making me hungry. Go for a plate of that right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
good.
See, Neil, man. What you missed, Neil?
I know. I hear you.
Hey, I was all mad because the banquet wasn't at the hotel, so we had to travel all this way to go. And then, you know, we roll up.
Couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, man. There got fried chicken, man. I was with Bill Johnson, man, and Bill was going to get extra plates, man. It was great, man. It was great. But I digress, man. But since I had you on here, I had to throw that out there, man, because that's a great.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. You know, a lot of people are still talking about the World Series here in Columbus. Neil, since you wasn't here, we had, and this is not to sound funny, but outside the hotel, there was cooler stacked with beers. Across the street was a Waffle House, a strip joint. Inside the building was the hospitality room, which we had a whole lot of, you know, different food. We try to make it so nobody had to go in there with water to spend any money. Yeah. You know, we try to make sure we was on point, although we was a small town.
Hey, I got to correct you though, because Neil won't know. The Waffle House was not across a quote unquote street. It was across a highway, a deadly highway, man.
Actually, even though I wasn't there, I was on the tournament committee at that time. So like I you know what I mean? I dealt with what was her name? Mary Sherman that ran?
Right, Miss Sherman.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? I interacted with those, you know, the everybody that put that together for the couple years leading up to that. So I'm not totally in the dark on what went on there, but
now, did you come down for the board meeting?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I did
not. And you know, before we wrap this up, because I don't know how much time we got, you know, like I said, there's some people I would really like to thank, you know, for what they have been doing. And we still got a long way to go, and I know this. So, you know, that guy, what we call him, from the defending world champion, Darnell Booker, and me and Neil talked about this. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, right.
Still,
baby, I don't
know. Definitely a friend of the show. Book just reached out to us this week. He's sending us some shirts from the Indy Bonanza tournament. So
to make up for the unfair attacks that were launched against our show. Man. Thank you, Booker. We love you, man. we always like that reciprocity, man. Apology accepted.
With love. With love.
Oh, sorry.
You know, and then you got JT from the Chicago Comets, the coach of Chicago Comets. You got Nikolai from the Chicago Comets. You know, a lot of people don't give this other fellow credit, and I love him dearly. You know, when he came down, Chris Jackson, okay, Kalari's husband.
Oh, that's our boy, yeah.
Yeah, hey. You know, he's a lot of fun, you know, and I saw him this weekend, and he saw me, and when I got hurt, man, you should have heard our conversation on the elevator. Everybody who was on there was falling out at Chris. You know what I mean? But, you know, when we had young talent here, and they were trying to find, he said, hold on, McDuffie. He'll call me and say, this is the guy who runs the beat ball, man. Talk to this guy, you know. People don't give Chris that much credit because, you know, he's kind of quiet, but he's like a big teddy bear. But he would definitely push if he knows that player wants to play and he knows somebody who's in that area. He's going to let them know. You know, Kyle from the Indy Edge. You know, I interacted with him a couple of times during tournaments when they were live and I was on Facebook, and then I finally got a chance to meet him and he worked with my player. Now, you guys know my man Tim Hepner.
Yeah.
I try to mess with Tim when he's on a roll, And he sits there and he just smiles at me. He just don't know it. I say, "Hey, Jim, aren't you hot?" He goes, "Nope, I'm in my wheelhouse." I said, "Oh my God." You know, when he tells me that, I know I'm in trouble. So, you know, I like to thank him. Like I say, Kevin, who came down a couple of years ago and was pitching, and he was talking with not only Chicago, I mean, with the Atlanta Eclipse, he was talking with the Stars. You know, Holly and her family, I like to thank them, and Austin Blackhawks. You know, those guys to me are amazing. You know, people talked about them. But as you get to know them, they're not what people make them out to be. Because, like I say, when we ran short, those guys stepped up and gave me the hand that they didn't have to do what they did. You know,
that whole organization, they're very good about just being ambassadors for the game, helping the word spread. You know, helping teams out. They're a good group. They're a very good group. One name I'll throw out there for you, because you'd mentioned her when we were on the phone, is somebody you wanted to give a shout out to, is Janet Leonard.
Right. When I first came into the league, you know, Janet called me, and I figured, well, this ain't gonna take long. Well, Janet stayed on the phone with me for 2 hours talking, giving me the insides, what to look for.
That can make you feel special. I mean, Janet, God bless her, but Janet just likes to talk. You can't feel special for getting 2 hours out of Janet.
you know, I was saying to myself, out of all the people I never expected to hear from, but she was, I mean, when I say wonderful, you know, I love her dearly. You know, I really don't get enough time to spend with her. But like I say, when I first came in, she was one of the first one to call me and welcome me. You know, it's like, well, he's no guy, forget him. You know, we're just in whatever. No, she made her point to call me and talk to me. And I like to thank her dearly for that, you know.
Yeah, no, I joke around, but she's always been really good about, you know, just helping teams out, helping, you know, she's not afraid to get in and get started with somebody. That's actually how Seth and I met her for the very first time. We were at, like 30 years ago, we were at a goalball tournament. They hosted it at the Indiana School for the Blind, in this big old campus. They put Seth and I out in these dorms that were like a million miles from everything else, and we kept getting lost. And at some point, Janet Leonard found us, and that's where we met her for the first time. So she's good people.
Yeah, and she's a good. Now here's another one. There's two more. Miss Jan.
Wait, hold on one sec. I think, were you gonna say something about Janet Leonard stuff?
No. My bird flew down. I was just trying to.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes our bird comes in and hangs out, or my bird, or the kid's bird, and looks up, gets on the video and all that stuff. So I was trying to get it away or whatever. But
that's funny.
He might show up.
we Seth and I talked about this off air, whatever we call it, when we weren't recording. That like during, I think it was our last episode, the bird was all over Seth and his headphones. But like I and anybody who was blind, he never said anything. So me and anybody who was blind had no idea what was going on. But this bird, he said, you don't just hear it in the background. Sometimes the sighted folk get to see it. So go ahead, Grant. I think you were going to move on to Jan Traphagen. Can I assume?
I was gonna, Miss Jan. God love her too. And here's one that when I was doing tournaments in Missouri, Miss Barb, who works with the Indy Thunder, and I got a chance to meet her and her husband. And so here's a funny story I said to her. They said, "Oh, wait, Miss Barb's tent," and they say, "Here's a massage therapist right here." And so I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay. She said, "Well, what can you do?" So I started working the shoulder. So I turned to her husband, "You want to learn this?" "No, I'm going to get my gun." So we, ever since then, I love, meeting people who I can joke and get along with.
Yeah, and, that's not a joke.
Yeah. He didn't go anywhere.
That ain't a joke.
He didn't go anywhere. He sat there and he's like, "No, go ahead." And, this guy works hard. And, I'm going to say, you guys, I already asked Neil this. Have you seen Happy Gilmore before?
I've never seen Happy Gilmore.
Check out Happy Gilmore. The young man I'm going to talk about.
You would love that movie, I think.
I first met him in Ames, Iowa. and it was at an assembly. Somebody said something out of line, and I'll be damned. I said to my friend, "Hey, this guy reminds me of Happy Gilmore." He crawled across the table to go whoop somebody's ass, man. The person I'm talking about is Steven Guerra. I mean, this guy's, when I say committed, this guy's committed.
And to which institution we are not yet aware.
But, you know, anytime I call him, I don't care what time of day, he'll say, "Yeah, what can I do for you, dude?" And I tell him, "Steve, I have a problem with this." "Okay, no problem." Then he'll call me back and say, "I need this information." I said, "Okay." He says, "Okay, dude, you're done." Okay. And I'm like, "That's it?" He's like, "Yeah, you're done." I said, "Okay, I appreciate it." You know,
Steve and I have been buddies for 20 years, so shout out to Steven.
But this guy, no matter what, will always ask and say, "Dude, what do you need?" Okay. And when people said that, when he says, "Call me no matter what," I'm one of the true people who can say, I'll call him no matter what, and he never says no. If he don't have an answer, he'll say, "Dude, let me see what I can do. I'll get back with you." Then when he calls me back, he says, "Okay, problem solved." You know, for so much that he has going on, I got to give thanks to him, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just how the ball bounces. You know, like I said, I don't know a lot of people, but the people I do know, I try to make sure I respect them and, you know, stay up to them. And then, not trying to be funny, I forgot one, Cassie. You know, she used to do a lot of work, help me out when I was doing fundraising for the team.
Cassie
So,
Nip,
you know,
I assume?
Cassie Nip, yeah.
All right.
So, you know, I just want to give thanks to people that
Dude, you
I
named like 10 more people than I could name. You keep saying you don't know a lot of people. I'm like, man, dude, you know everybody.
Yeah,
who don't you know?
I keep including their last names so Seth knows who you're talking about.
Like, who is he talking about?
Yeah. So, so my goal now for next year is to get more players in here to work and help build this squad, because, you know, if you two good dudes wasn't in retirement, I'd snatch y'all ass up and have you come play for me. But, you know, nah, I got my 5 rings. I ain't gonna call no name though.
Hey, you get me a job at Columbus State University, man. I'm there, man.
Okay, tell me what you
Totally
need.
joking.
I
I'm about to say, I put his ass to work. I got connections.
I wasn't gonna go that far. I was just gonna say, man, you keep talking about sponsorship. You pay for players. We'll be there. We're not used to that.
Right.
Nobody's ever paid for me to go to a World Series.
You know, for my first 2 years with the Heat, or I think my first year at the Heat, it was a full ride. But of course, I was in freaking Stockton, so I only had to take a train ride. Man. It's like, come on now. Thought I was gonna get a free flight out of this. But.
Yeah, well,
let's wrap it up on this note. Where like after going through the tournament in Chicago, the Bolingbrook tournament, like where's your team at now mentally heading towards the World Series? How are they feeling? I know you guys you've admitted you got a long road ahead of you, but how are they feeling after the Chicago tournament?
well, they're feeling, you know, like I say, it's expected. You know, they got their ass handed to them, but now next is Champaign, so it gives them a chance to, you know, try to rebuild their confidence back up and then to the World Series.
Champaign, Illinois is hosting a tournament. I don't think I had any idea.
Yeah, we're heading there next, and on the 9th of July.
All right, man.
So,
what are your expectations for the World Series? You know, like what do you think would be? I mean, clearly you're not going to win the World Series.
Yeah. What's a good outcome?
What would you think shows you're in the right direction?
To me, to be honest with you, is to see the team slowly start gelling as one. You know, like I say, you guys know I'm a firm believer in, if you have learned from your experience from this past weekend, and then you let that go and you come back and you put 220 in, then you're showing me that you're willing to grow. But if you're still lacking in that area, then we still, like I said, we still got a long way to go. My expectation for the World Series, the goal, if they can win 2 games, hey, they should be happy.
Right.
You know, because I don't know what bracket they're in, but they really should be happy if they can win 2 games, and that's a start. That's a confidence boost. If you win 1 game, that's a confidence boost.
Right.
You know, I keep it real. I'm not going to sit here and tell these men and women you're going to win 3 or 4 games, because that's a bunch of bullshit, because then they won't trust me anymore,
Right.
So if you find some teams that you'll be playing against, you have a good chance in your own quality, because if you play Indy Thunder, Indy Edge, San Antonio, you can hang that up, because these guys are not going to play with you. They're going to just go ahead and crush you in the first inning, and that's it.
But unfortunately, like every team's got to kind of go through that. It's the veins of it. You're
Right.
gonna get your mixed bag of playing teams you're equal to and teams you're not equal to, and you just got to you gain something from each one if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dang, man, we appreciate you coming on and getting us familiar with the Copperheads, dude, and our audience also.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to be building from the ground up, and we're still looking for a couple more players. And like I said, I got a 12-year-old kid that that we're building up also to keep pitching.
Oh, let's plug before I forget and we get out of here. Let's plug your Facebook page, Beep Baseball for All. I think you said.
Yes. Yes.
And Houston, I don't know if you were connected yet earlier, Seth, before we started recording. Like he's had this Facebook page up since before, like Beatball Nation and Central and all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been going up for a while, and somehow I've missed it. But Beat Baseball for All, go check that out if you get a chance. And check out the South Georgia. Every time that comes out, I want to say Southwest. I don't know why. It's just a natural thing to come out of my mouth. But everybody go check out the South Georgia Copperheads Facebook page so you can follow them and their development as they go. And good luck to you guys, Greg. I hope you have a good tournament. I hope the Champaign tournament goes well, and you guys feeling good about the World Series once you get there.
Oh yeah, and we definitely appreciate everything. And like I say, I really enjoy being here. So give a chance to put us out there, and people learn more about us. So like you say, follow the page, and stay with us for updates.
All right,
excellent. All right. Well, good luck, man. Good luck.
We'll be hoping.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Get out there, upset the Thunder, man. Make it the greatest upset in beatball history, man.
Well, yeah.
Stars,
Y'all joking, but Darnell Booker is serious about that. He's like, no, man, I'm going back into the lab with you guys. You know too much about my team.
Well, cool, man. Good luck to you. Glad we made another friend on the show. Happy to have you on down the road and hear how things are developing, man.
I would definitely appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. All right. Happy Father's Day to everybody that involves. Thanks again to the Copperheads. Thank you, Seth Dog, for your time. Thank you, Frank Porter, as always, for your help behind the scenes. And we will see you next week. Good night, Aunt Cindy.